Hi, my name is Ben-Avraham. I'm I've been a member of the Signum community for a decade more by now, and mm, I'm so honored to be among the first writers that the Signum University Press is going to be publishing. I wrote a fantasy novel called The Flower of the Cedar. I read it aloud and released it as a podcast and then self published it just a couple of years ago now. And we at the press are working on a second edition. We're already neck deep in the rewrites. And I'm really excited to share it with you all. The title comes from a fairy tale quote that those of you who are familiar with Tolkien's essay on fairy stories may recognize. It's from the tale of the two brothers. I shall enchant my heart, and I shall place it upon the top of the flower of the cedar. Now, the cedar will be cut down, and my heart will fall to the ground, and thou shalt come to seek it, even though thou pass 7 years in seeking it. But when thou hast found it, put it into a vase of cold water, and in very truth I shall live. I read this as a teenager, and it arrested me. It awoke my imagination. I couldn't articulate it at the time, but it struck me somehow as almost allegorical for the human condition. And I knew somehow I wanted to tell a story. It spoke to me of a heart-finding quest. And I wanted to put that into the story of someone going on a journey and coming fully to life. Learning not just to survive this life, to endure it, separated from one's heart, from the core of one's vibrant energy in the world, but instead someone learning to live open-hearted, to grow and to heal. And I wanted to show through story how fraught, how long, and how sometimes lonely such a journey can be for us. That image of the flower of the cedar, in my mind, represents the inherent beauty and worth of undertaking a journey like that, even when the outcome is uncertain. And I think that we need story and companionship to give us the courage that it takes to go on a journey like that. There's a line from a poem by the Sufi poet Hafez that says, "We must feel the encouragement of light against our being. Otherwise, we all remain too frightened." So I wrote and offer this story in the hopes that it is a piece of that light for those who read. I knew that I wanted to clothe it in myth, in fairy tale. I I think myth and fairy tale have a resonance for us that is deep and ancient. And I wanted to harness that power in service of this. And that is how the flower of the cedar was born. It is a tale of dryads from long before human history began. We see the world through the eyes of Lara, a young dryad who is born into lack, as all of her kind are, knowing themselves separated from the three hearts that they were meant to have. And to recover hers and to bring them to life, she must set out on an unknown journey, fearing the god of the land and inexplicably drawn to the Lamia, whose stories say revive hearts by an ominous method called guttings, while this unknown god reportedly devours them. She nevertheless leaves her home and embarks on the heart-finding quest. So I have taken this story as far as I can on my own. I am eager and humbled and nervous to bring it to you all, to the community of other minds and hearts, for us to create it together. We are making subscriptions for the story available starting December 16th. And you'll be able to read along as we're rewriting, reworking. You'll be able to tell us what's working, what's not working, what needs to be unpacked, what are you curious about, what doesn't make sense. And for those of you who sign up for Authors Circle subscriptions, you'll also join me for a monthly live session where we'll talk together about the story, about the rewriting process and where it's all headed. You'll get a chance to shape it with me. Who knows, maybe you'll even have your names in the acknowledgements in the published version. That it'll be a year-long process at least. And I just am so glad to be able to invite you all to join me in it. And we'll see where this goes together. I'm really grateful for the opportunity.